Another thing that I wanted to say when I was recording this video, which I forgot, and that is that so the line that I've drawn between the House of Commons and the House of Lords on the right hand side, okay, what I think is happening with the government is when the House of Commons passes something, right, and votes on something and passes something to the Lords, right, the Lords get to debate and vote on it, and they can ask for changes, and then they send it back to the Commons, okay? Now, the House of Commons might not like this, okay? The House of Commons might not like the fact that everything they put through isn't successful, or they have to make changes. And what I think is that the House of Commons are playing on that principle, right? That the House of Lords, when they receive something and after they've debated on it, then they will send it back to the House of Commons and say, we want you to make changes, okay? That's how Parliament works. But that principle, that basis, what I think that they're doing is that the partisan parties and the ministers, the government, they don't really like a lot of the petitions that they receive from the public, okay? And what they're doing is they've set up a principle, a basis, a new one since 2006, which is modern, right? And what they're doing is they're behaving and conducting themselves a little bit like the Lords, right? When the Lords sent things back and asked to make changes. But it actually is officially passed on. Okay, it's officially submitted to the Lords, and then the Lords debate and vote on it, and only then do they ask for changes and send it back, and it's all official, right? And sometimes they might have to make changes they don't want to or they don't like, okay? Which means but that's because the Commons aren't supreme. The Commons aren't emperors. Keir Starmer is not an emperor. And this is why Keir Starmer is seeking to take power in the Lords. He wants to get rid of all the life peers. He wants to put more Labour Party people in there so he can have control, ultimate power. That's actually, pursuing that is illegal because he's trying to disrupt the control basis of government, which means that really he just wants the Labour Party to conquer and dominate, and he doesn't really want different MPs from different parties around the country and certain lords who are overseeing things. He wants total power, right? Now, the thing with the petitions is it's our right to prepare it. Just like in a legal claim, when you make a statement, right? And you choose what claim you want. You know, someone owes me some money or someone committed an offence, right? Now, and we're meant to collect the signatures and hand it in after we've collected the signatures, right? The signature collecting is actually not a privilege of the House of Commons, and neither is the preparation, right? Now, what the House of Commons are doing is that when they receive petitions they don't like, okay, they don't have to debate it, okay? But you still have a right for it to be handed in and put in the petitions bag and so forth. And when you collect a very large number of signatures, it can make them debate it. It compels them to debate it, and then it's debated. They might not act on the debate, or they might vote against the debate, but it goes on record. Now, that's the thing with the House of Lords. When the House of Lords receives something from the Commons, right, and it's voted through, it doesn't disappear from the record. It's not erased from history. It doesn't vanish, right? They actually do debate it, and then they do send it back, right? Now, the problem with that principle on the left-hand side of the picture with the House of Commons with our petitions is that, okay, they're providing a website and then you submit a petition, but when they reject it, it's actually not even debated, and then in the debate they decide that they don't want to debate it and send it back, right? It vanishes. And when they reject it, it doesn't even appear on the website. They won't even want to put it on the rejected list. They don't want it even to appear on the rejected list, although you still get a number, right, for it. But they don't even, I mean, it's not even like they debate it and then they decide they don't like it in the debate and then send it back for alterations or whatever. But you're not actually. The thing with the petition is you are not setting out an act. You're not proposing a bill, right? It's a request. It's actually a request or a prayer for them to make legislation, and they can actually make legislation. They've got they debate what the legislation is going to be, right? But they're not even wanting some things to be acknowledged to exist, and they don't even want to appear, right? That's the thing. And we've got the right. And they're also coming up with lies and excuses about the law, lies and excuses about. I mean, you can ask for any existing act to be repealed, or instrument to be repealed, and now they're saying I can't ask for the Keir Starmer instrument to be repealed because it's got his name in it, or because it's on matters of his own pension, right? Which he can't exempt himself from. Being a subject which you can, ask them to act on. He can't exempt himself from his own name, by his own name. So, and they're just waylaying us, they're delaying us. The amount of time that it's taking them to process these petitions, it's taking time, weeks and weeks and months, and then they reject it on something that is not a legitimate reason or whatever, right? So, what they're doing is they're messing with us, they're toying with us, and they're being very slow about it. They're not actually doing us a favour, I don't think. What I think they're doing is it's a facade. It's like a playgroup, a play school, and the debates aren't serious or legitimate. Very little gets done from these debates. It's almost kind of like a sideshow now. It's become a circus sideshow. Where they can literally put us in a lay-by and get us out of the way and put on a facade of a debate, right? And because it's parliamentary, then it's got the parliament stamp on it. It looks serious, but they actually don't really want to debate anything that really is serious because they don't really want it to get involved with partisan politics. They don't really want us to truly get involved in their business in the chamber because Labour, Conservative and Lib Dem are supreme, right? Yet they're not, because without being elected, they can't exist. They don't want to acknowledge the independent voter, the independent subject, the independent persons who are very large in number in the country, like a third of England. They don't think we've got any rights. They don't think we deserve to have any privileges or anything. And they've actually hijacked them. So they're trying to, just like Starmer's trying to reach out for power in the Lords and get more Labour members in the Lords and try and get rid of these peers out of the Lords, a little bit like that. He's extending his reach over into the Lords, right? That's what Starmer's trying to do now. In the same way, Tony Blair and the past petition committee since 2006 actually, it wasn't as bad at first, but it's got increasingly worse because, they're increasingly opposed to our independent rights and powers. They're reaching out into our privilege, and they're trying to interfere with it, and even prepare. They're co-preparing. They're trying to guide our. They're trying to write our petitions with us or tell us what to write. That's illegal. Just like a magistrate telling someone what statement to write, how to compile their statement, which is in respect to persons. So it's become illegal. Why? Well, just for the exact same reason why Starmer wants to get more Lords in the House of Lords. The reason why Starmer wants to remove life peers and earls. Because he wants total power and control and to become indestructible, indefeatable. Because he's a megalomaniac, right? And he can't take a true, fair challenge with fair democratic vote, with people signing something which compels them to act, which is our privilege. They're basically cheating the system, and they're trying to do it with the Lords as well. It's not just us, right? Because the House of Commons is not supreme in England. It's nothing without voters, and it's nothing without the Lords. The House of Commons is trying to take over the entire government, right? And it can't do. The House of Commons cannot take over this government. It's actually illegal. So Starmer's entire career is illegal. From when he graduated out of university, he's never recognised the rights of the subjects through his entire career, through pro bono, working as a barrister, leading the CPS, and now as Prime Minister, as if it doesn't exist, right? So this man is a criminal, a constitutional level criminal, the highest level of criminal that you can get in government, because he's subverting the rights and liberties of the realm, right? And he's trying to take over government. His Labour Party, they removed Jeremy Corbyn, right? And then you've got people who've got freedom of speech like Jason Williamson. Like, he's kicking those people out as well, whether you like them or not. So he's a psychopath, right? And people, people are chucking him out of their pub in Bath, and his whole party's lying about the whole political process. A lot of these MPs don't really understand the law or know the law, and whoever's advising them, whether it's the Ministry of Justice or the skeleton staff, they're not elected either, right? The Parliament staff aren't elected, right? So we're having the government taken over, and this is a problem.